there was a very large draft class last season. And of those players, only guys that really got on the field were Spencer Burford, Brock Purdy, and a little Jordan Mason. But that doesn't really indicate which guys are going to be really good pros, as we saw last year. Talanoa Funga, Aaron Banks. The Niners have these redshirt players, Jake Brendel, who just emerged after being on the bench for 1 year or longer. Who do you think that breakout player will be? There might be more than one. Let's start listing.
This is gonna be the happy moment of the summer when people realize that this list is like 6 deep.
Yeah.
We'll go right down the list. Kalia Davis is special. Really
Kalia
special.
Davis is important. So let's talk about the Niners D tackles. You got Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Kevin Givens, T.Y. McGill, and Kalia Davis. They're 5 deep.
And they got Kinlaw.
And Kinlaw. Yeah, that's true.
So, but Kalia Davis is really fast. So you're talking about an interior pass rusher who can close on the quarterback and sack the quarterback. So I'm really excited about Kalia Davis. Marcelino McCrary-Ball, I think, is a terrific player who can be as good as he wants to be. I mean, he's really good. And he's instinctive and fast, and he's the guy's.
He could be the next Azeez Al-Shaair, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I like him a lot. I think he starts over Demetrius Flanagan Fowles in that third linebacker spot. And then
I think so too. And Burks is a special teams guy too. I'm with you on that. All right,
I'll give you another one that I'm just absolutely now. Maybe it's I love this guy too much in college, but Quantrez Knight is a player, and I don't know if he's a nickel. I don't know if he's a corner. I don't know if he's a free safety.
Doesn't matter.
He's one of them,
Nice.
and he's a player. And he barely played at all this year. And watch out for Quantrez Knight. I mean, he's going to be really good this summer. He's going to be quicker.
Do you ever talk to him in the locker room?
Yeah,
I love him.
His dad follows me on Twitter, Tommy.
Whenever I see Quantrez, he tells me to call him Q. So whenever I see Q in the locker room, he says, "I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. Watch out for me. I'm coming." Meaning to the team. I'm going to make it. So I love Quantrez. He went to UCLA, so I always say what's up to the UCLA players.
He is, even though he was a practice squad guy, he is an alpha type personality.
Oh,
so I love Quantrez.
I saw him play in college. I was at a game against Stanford. I was pretty much right on the sideline, and he was galvanizing the team the whole freaking time, and they won.
He wore Willie Mays' 24.
I think he was basically Chip Kelly's guy on defense. Like he was the leader of the defense for Chip Kelly. Really trusted him.
Smart football player.
I went up to him in the locker room. I was like, "Hey, do you know who the coach of this team was before Kyle?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Chip Kelly." He's like, "Really?" So funny, man. Anyway, keep going.
Awesome.
Keep going.
So those 3 guys for sure on defense, absolutely. On offense, there's a few as well.
Hold on. What about Drake Jackson on defense? What about Drake Jackson?
Well, Drake Jackson for sure.
Gotta be. They need him. I feel like they're creating a super highway for him to play, right? They got rid of Ebukam. No Amenihue. It's all you, baby. It's all
Drake
you.
is going to have a huge role. He's going to have a huge role.
I would think so.
He actually played at such a level this year. I was kind of thinking of guys who didn't play.
Enough.
But you're right. He played.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of the ball, I mean, I expect Purdy to be quite a bit better. I really expect Nick Zakelj to emerge this year. And don't forget Tay Martin. Tay Martin was a great receiver in college, and he just didn't get any run at all last year on this team. But he's 6'3" with really great hands, and he doesn't have burner speed, but he's an excellent red zone threat. And I just think he's going to be a guy who's going to score a lot of touchdowns in his career.
I think there's one more. I think there's going to be one of those 2 running backs, either Ty Davis Price or Jordan Mason. And it depends on which one gets the opportunities. But the Niners, Kyle Shanahan's pattern is he has a new leading rusher every year. And the way he was using Christian McCaffrey last year, boy, I hope nothing bad happens to Christian. But I think the pattern is it's going to be someone else that leads the team in rushing this year. And if it's someone else, I don't think it's going to be Mitchell. Mitchell can't stay healthy. But Jordan Mason looks like a freaking tank. He doesn't run. He's not super fast, but he's explosive and he runs harder than just about anyone I've seen. So I would think Jordan Mason is going to, they can't help but give him the ball. Yeah. They just can't help but give him the ball. He's too good.
He's when I watch him, I mean, I don't want to put this label on him or anything, but I see kind of a little beast mode.
Me too. He runs that hard. He runs angry. And running angry is different than running hard. And not that many people really do it. He does it.
Yeah.
He does it. Ray does it at 180 pounds. God love you, Ray.
But Jordan Mason on that run, what run was that the end of, was that regular season or playoffs?
That was regular season, Seattle. I mean, just 50 yards out to,
down to the 5 or down to the 2 or something.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I can't wait. If Trey Lance ever plays, I'd love to see what these running backs, McCaffrey, Mason, even Ty Davis Price, look like, in a zone read attack where the defense is looking at Trey the whole time and all of a sudden, he gets the ball. Because doesn't that do wonders for the running backs in Philadelphia? Just not even the quarterback keeping it, but just the threat, I think that'll be big.
Whoever's the Niner quarterback, it should be a run-heavy scheme. By the way, Georgia Tech had Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Mason
on the same team. Wow.
Crazy.
Did they manage to win anything, or did that coach fumble that?
They didn't win anything.
Michael says, here's $2. Thank you, Michael. Fish and Chips, Kyle's book title after the show, That's Football. Ooh, I like that. That is Trey sarcastic. I like it very much. Did we just go through a whole show in 38 minutes? We might have. What about Sammy Womack? What about him? He almost started as a rookie.
He's good. He's really good. I think Sammy Womack might be an outside corner. I know everybody's thinking about he's a slot guy.
That's fair.
The way
he got the speed.
He looks like the kind of guy that could jump routes on the outside and take it back. I think Womack was this close to a couple pick sixes this year, and I think next year he gets those.
We saw what Womack could do in man-to-man coverage in the slot. He had his back, at least in preseason, he had his back to plays, turned around, made the catch. Like, that's high-level stuff. I think the reason he lost that job is because of the run defense. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, move him outside.
Yeah.
Move him outside.
I just think that, when you can find corners that can mirror the way that he can,
with 4.3
speed, if nothing else, he's quality depth. What did you think of the Hartsfield pickup?
I'd never heard of him, but it's Steve Wilkes. He's one of the best DB coaches in the league. I trust him. He knows him. It's probably there's no guarantee he makes the team either. It might be like the Ross Dwelly of the DB room.
To me, Hartsfield is like the old Parcells line. Hey, if you're going to ask me to cook the dinner, you should let me shop for the groceries. If you're Steve Wilkes, and to me, he was like kind of an upgrade over Tarvarius, right? Tarvarius could play. He could play slot. He could play, free safety. But in reality, he was more of a DB or more of a special teamer.
Special teams guy, yeah.
This guy
he couldn't tackle.
Has more talent to play from scrimmage, but is an equal special teamer. So it probably gives them. It's probably a better use of their depth to have a guy who can actually play from scrimmage.
It's kind of amazing in retrospect to think back on that Super Bowl team that played the Chiefs and realize that Tarvarius Moore was on the field, in big moments. Gave up a touchdown to Travis Kelce's Tarvarius Moore. That guy was not really anything for the 49ers. They're better off without him.
Oh, I know.
Hartsfield.
What about free agency? Are you the first wave is done? They have about $8 million. Is there any free agent out there that you would absolutely like to see them?
The next John Feliciano?
Well, or do you think that they can extend at all for anybody? There's Leonard Floyd, there's Frank Clark,
I'd love it to be that. But look, if it's not Leonard Floyd, they better have someone real explosive, an edge rusher that they're drafting. They got to have a targeted edge rusher, either in free agency. So maybe if they wait another week and Leonard Floyd has no market, they can get him. But yeah, Leonard Floyd would be freaking perfect. If the Niners got Leonard Floyd, I would look at them a lot differently because Drake Jackson, is he an interior rusher or an edge rusher? It seems like most of his sacks in college and in the NFL came through, the middle, either through a stunt or just lining up as an interior rusher. So who is the D Ford of this defense? They haven't replaced him. He's important. Who is that? Leonard Floyd.
They got to add a couple guys. Probably at least one in free agency, probably 2 or 3 in the draft. But edge rusher is going to be the need in the draft. You got to think. And it's a great draft for edge rushers. So they might be sitting in a good spot.
But it seems like, you could get, like to your point, there's like 3 or 4 edge rushers hanging around on the free agent market right now who are good.
Yeah.
Not so with right tackles. So it's always harder to get the right tackle. I don't know how probably got to get that in the draft and figure it out, but you could get the edge rusher right now. But it seems like by letting Jordan Willis go and Amenahu and Ebukam and only signing Farrell, who's a run defender, the Niners are really hoping Drake Jackson hits. So maybe he'll be Alden Smith next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should
Either they're looking for him to have a huge second year, or they still have a significant free agent defensive end coming, or they like somebody in the draft a lot. But they'll have a number of picks. I mean, they should be good, really good rushers there in the 3rd round.
All right. We just did a quick show today. It's all right. That's okay. Hey, what do you got going on today? The rest of the day, the rest of the week.
Well, tonight I'm going to come on after the Warriors Houston. If the Warriors lose tonight, they're pretty much freaking cooked. So we got.
Is it in Houston?
It's in Houston. Yeah, in Houston, and they're struggling. You know, their Warriors can't beat anybody on the road at all. But yeah,
if you were a gambler, would you ever bet on the Warriors to win a road game this season?
No, they're They're like 7-30 or something like that.
How do you account for that?
They're digging themselves holes, and then they don't have enough offensive firepower, so they just, they fall behind, and then all of a sudden you throw extra bodies towards Steph. Wiggins has been out. They just don't have any good, real big time firepower. It doesn't. You know what it is that in the NBA, role players can score at home, but they just, for whatever reason, role players cannot score on the road. So they've got, normal. They need some of their secondary players to provide points for them to win games, and they do it at home, and they don't do it on the road.
They just also seem like a really small, kind of exhausted team. Like they don't really have a center, and so on the road they just feel like they're chasing rebounds, they're giving up offensive rebounds, they're giving up wide open threes. They just look exhausted all the time on the road. I don't know, maybe that's just the way I see it. But at home it's always easy to be pumped up with your crowd there, but on the road the Warriors just look tired and upset and frustrated, and like they're not really a team. Maybe it's because Draymond punched that guy in the face. I don't know.
They also look real. They're falling behind. They're getting wasted early in the first quarter, and then they're having to expend all this energy to come back. So
also Wiggins not being there really hurts.
He
hurts.
Yeah, and also they just don't have a lot of firepower. Some of these teams have a lot more. I mean, the Lakers, the Kings, some of these teams actually have more firepower than Golden State, especially, with Curry out, with Wiggins out. It's like they just don't have this much firepower. I mean, I like DiVincenzo, but now the Wiseman CP2 trade, or GP2 trade, I should say, doesn't look very good because Wiseman's playing well.
Corey Soda says, you see Purdy having sophomore breakout after UCL? I mean, anything's possible. We don't really know what he's going to be like this year.
Well, I mean,
could be Trey.
Yeah, I mean, his that elbow injury is all about his ability to throw. But your ability to throw is just a tiny, tiny part of the equation. And where I'm seeing the improvement is, look at Matt Ryan went from totally average to the MVP of the league in year 2. It takes a while to digest Kyle's offense. Brock did a nice job, but I got to think that if you put him an entire offseason in this offense, everything is vast as it is, that he's going to be quite a bit better, just breaking everything down. So I'm expecting some mental improvement.
Fish and Chip says in 23, don't call Kyle coach anymore. Anything but. He's not Coach Kyle. Was he Cabo Kyle? What is he? Karate Kyle?
Yeah.
What are we calling him?
Flat cap Kyle.